The most anticipated interview of all time at this point, and I'm just literally being sarcastic here. Heavily edited, heavily, extremely edited. These like just look at Dana Bash here and CNN like forced to edit this video. We're gonna count the edited clips, the cuts. We're gonna count that. What a collapse this was. We're gonna get right to it. Tim Walz forced to sit in with Kamala Harris for this interview. What she says in this interview is actually insane. We're gonna go through it all. The internet is reacting to this in real time, so we're also going to go through all of that. Make sure to smash the like button, ladies and gentlemen. CNN softball edited, extremely edited interview. So just let me know where you guys are watching from. Let me know what you think of this mess, and let's take a listen on her positions on everything. And oh boy. Let's go.
Madam Vice President, Governor Walz, thank you so much for sitting down with me and bringing the bus. The bus tour is well underway here in Georgia. You have less time to make your case to voters than any candidate in modern American history.
Actually, is this part one and part two? I guess we could just keep it here.
The voters are really eager to hear what your plans are. If you are elected, what would you do on day one in the White House?
Well, there are a number of things. I will tell you, first and foremost, one of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class.
Why can't you do that now? I mean, bro, do you hear this? They are treating her like she is not in the White House and a part of this administration right now.
When I look at the aspirations, the goals, the ambitions of the American people, I think that people are ready for a new way forward, in a way that generations of Americans have been fueled by hope and by optimism. I think, sadly, in the last decade, we have had in the former president someone who has really been pushing an agenda and an environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans.
A lot of people are saying that she looks worn out. Yeah, she looks very stressed out. But once again, talking like she's not in the White House.
Really dividing our nation, and I think people are ready to turn the page on that.
So what would you do day one?
Day one, it's going to be about, one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy. I've already laid out a number of proposals in that regard, which include what we're going to do to bring down the cost of everyday goods, what we're going to do to invest in America's small businesses, what we're going to do to invest in families, for example, extending the child tax credit to $6,000 for families for the first year of their child's life, to help them buy a car seat, to help them buy baby clothes, a crib. There's the work that we're going to do that is about investing in the American family around affordable housing, a big issue in our country right now. So there are a number of things on day one.
You would think she was not in the White House. You would think that during this interview, she is randomly running for president. And she's looking at notes. Is she looking at notes?
What about you?
You see that edit? And they're adding Tim Walz here. They're editing all these things.
Investing in the American family around affordable housing, a big issue in our country right now. So there are a number of things on day one.
What about you?
Well, I'm excited about this agenda too. As I said, the idea of inspiring America to what can be, and I think many of these things that the vice president's proposing are things that we share in values. And the child tax credit is one we know that reduces childhood poverty by 1/3. We did it in Minnesota. To have a federal partner in this, unbelievable, I think, in the impact that we can make.
You talked about, you call it the opportunity economy. You are well aware that right now many Americans are struggling. There's a crisis of affordability. One of your campaign themes is we're not going back. But I wonder what you say to voters who do want to go back when it comes to the economy specifically, because their groceries were less expensive. Housing was more affordable when Donald Trump was president.
Well, let's start with the fact that when Joe Biden and I came in office, during the height of a pandemic, we saw over 10 million jobs were lost. People, I mean, literally, we were all tracking the numbers. Hundreds of people a day were dying because of COVID. The economy had crashed. In large part, all of that because of mismanagement by Donald Trump of that crisis. When we came in, our highest priority.
He literally handed you he literally handed you 1.9. I think that was the official number, inflation. And then under your administration, it went to like 7. This is unbelievable. Like they have no idea. Like they want to blame Trump. She's blaming Trump. Trump hasn't been president since 2020. She's blaming Trump and the pandemic for all the failures of this administration that she's obviously running against. She's running against legitimately her own track record. Like, this is crazy.
Was to do what we could to rescue America. And today we know that we have inflation at under 3%. A lot of our policies have led to the reality that America recovered faster than any wealthy nation around the world. But
you're saying that we're struggling, no?
You are right. Prices, in particular for groceries, are still too high. The American people know it, I know it, which is why my agenda includes what we need to do to bring down the price of groceries. For example, dealing with an issue like price gouging, what we need to do to extend the child tax credit to help young families be able to take care of their children in their most formative years, what we need to do to bring down the cost of housing. My proposal includes what would be a tax credit of $25,000 for first-time home buyers, so they can just have enough to put a down payment on a home, which is part of the American dream and their aspiration, but do it in a way that allows them to actually get on the path to achieving that goal and that dream.
So you have been vice president for 3.5 years.
Yeah. Can we get some pushback? And what's up with all these edits and cuts?
The steps that you're talking about now, why haven't you done them already?
Ooh. Where's she looking at? She looking at the notes now? She's looking at the notes?
The steps that you're talking about now, why haven't you done them already?
Well, first of all, we had to recover as an economy, and we have done that. I'm very proud of the work that we have done that has brought inflation down to less than 3%. The work that we have done to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. Donald Trump said he was going to do a number of things, including allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices. Never happened. We did it. So now, as I travel in the state of Georgia and around our country, the number of seniors that have benefited,
He's looking at her notes. Oh, you guys pointed that out. I wasn't paying attention to that. She keeps looking down.
This has never happened. We did it. So now, as I travel
right there, she looked at her notes there.
In the state of Georgia and around our country, the number of seniors that have been
right there again. Oh my God. I didn't want to believe it. She's looking at her notes while she's talking.
Benefited.
Look at that.
I was in Nevada recently.
She can't stop looking down.
A grandmother who showed me her receipts. And before
again,
we capped the cost of insulin for seniors at $35 a month. She was paying hundreds of dollars, up to thousands of dollars a month for her insulin. She's not doing that anymore.
You maintain Bidenomics is a success.
I maintain that when we do the work of bringing down,
looking down at the notes, and she just got asked a hard question about Bidenomics. Bidenomics is not working.
Up to thousands of dollars a month for her insulin. She's not doing that anymore.
You maintain Bidenomics is a success.
I maintain that when we do the work of bringing down prescription medication for the American people, including capping the cost of the annual cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000, when we do what we did in the first year of being in office to extend the child tax credit so that we cut child poverty in America by over 50%.
Won't answer if Bidenomics was successful or not. While looking at her notes, this is a collapse.
When we do what we have done to invest in the American people and bringing manufacturing back to the United States so that we created over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs, bringing business back to America. What we have done to improve the supply chain so we're not relying on foreign governments to supply American families with their basic needs, I'll say that that's good work. There's more to do, but that's good work.
I want to get some clarity on where you stand on some key policy issues. Energy is a big one. When you were in Congress, you supported the Green New Deal. And in 2019, you said, quote, "There is no question I'm in favor of banning fracking." Fracking, as you know, is a pretty big issue, particularly in your must-win state of Pennsylvania.
Sure.
Do you still want to ban fracking?
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020, that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
In 2019, I believe, at a town hall, you said you were asked, would you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking on your first day in office? And you said, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So yes.
Yes, she's changing all her positions. And finally, we get a little bit of pushback here. She's literally changing her positions. Now she wants to drill, baby, drill. There was earlier, Trump literally called her out and said, yo, we should give her a MAGA hat. We should give her a MAGA hat.
So it changed in that campaign?
In 2020, I made very clear where I stand. We are in 2024, and I've not changed that position, nor will I going forward. I kept my word, and I will keep my word.
What made you change that position at the time?
Well, let's be clear. My values have not changed. I believe it is very important that we take seriously what we must do to guard against what is a clear crisis in terms of the climate. And to do that, we can do what we have accomplished thus far. The Inflation Reduction Act, what we have done to invest, by my calculation, over probably $1 trillion over the next 10 years, investing in a clean energy economy. What we've already done, creating over 300,000 new clean energy jobs. That tells me, from my experience as vice president, we can do it without banning fracking. In fact, Dana, excuse me, I cast the tiebreaker.
What? What a disaster. I don't even know her name was Dana. Oh no, Kamala. Is it Kamala or is it Kamala?
That tells me, from my experience as vice president, we can do it without banning fracking. In fact, Dana, excuse me, I cast the tie-breaking vote that actually increased leases for fracking as vice president. So I'm very clear about where I stand.
And was there some policy or scientific data that you saw that you said, oh, okay, I get it now?
What I have seen is that we can grow and we can increase a thriving clean energy economy without banning fracking.
Okay. Another issue, big one, is immigration.
Mhm.
As vice president, you were tasked with addressing the root causes of migration in southern countries and
Northern part of Central America.
the northern part
Yeah.
of Central America that affects the southern border of the U.S.
Mhm.
During the Biden-Harris administration, there were record numbers of illegal border crossings. Why did the Biden-Harris administration wait 3.5 years to implement sweeping asylum restrictions?
Well, first,
Oh my God. How is she gonna turn this? By the way, this is a very short interview. So it's number one, it's crazy how pampered. Somebody said she's getting pampered during this interview. She's not getting any pushback. Remember, Dana Bash, if that's how you say her name, was really hard on JD Vance, like really, really hard. And they are not hard on this lady at all. She's been in office this whole time. Now she's blaming it on Trump consistently on every case, every policy. And now she's constantly getting asked. She's been vice president this whole time. She doesn't want to take accountability for Bidenomics, literally dodges the question if Bidenomics is actually a good or bad thing. That a lot of Democrats claim it was amazing. Bidenomics was amazing.
There were record numbers of illegal border crossings. Why did the Biden-Harris administration wait 3.5 years to implement sweeping asylum restrictions?
well, first of all, the root causes work that I did as vice president, that I was asked to do by the president, has actually resulted in a number of benefits, including historic investments by American businesses in that region. The number of immigrants coming from that region has actually reduced since we began that work. But I will say this, that Joe Biden and I and our administration worked with members of the United States Congress on an immigration issue that is very significant to the American people and to our security, which is the border. And through bipartisan work, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress, a bill was crafted, which we supported, which I support. And Donald Trump got word of this bill that would have contributed to securing our border. And because he believes that it would not have helped him politically.
No, I can't believe she's doing this. The bill literally had money for Israel, Taiwan, and Ukraine. And we're not talking about a little bit of money. We're talking about billions and billions of dollars with at the least going to the border. That was the bill that was proposed. And Donald Trump's not in office, by the way. So he didn't reject anything, even if he could. Like, this is nasty. This is disgusting.
He told his folks in Congress, don't put it forward. He killed the bill. A border security bill that would have put 1,500 more agents on the border. And let me tell you something, the Border Patrol endorsed the bill. And I'm sure in large part.
But I thought the border was secure. See, they can't make up their mind. See, we're not stupid. I'm sorry that I'm pausing this so much, but it's just so crazy. We're not stupid. Hey, Kamala, is the border secure? Yes or no? Well, the border is secure because the Biden-Harris administration is doing a great job. Okay, so if is it doing good or not? Like, we really don't know where she really stands. And we really don't know if Democrats even know what they're lying about anymore. Like, we don't even know what they're lying about anymore, bro.
Because they knew they were working around the clock and 1,500 more agents would help them. That bill would have allowed us to increase seizures of fentanyl. Ask any community in America that has been devastated by fentanyl what passing that bill would have done to address their concern and a pain that they've experienced.
So you would push that legislation again. I just want to
Not
ask
only
about
push it, I will make sure that it comes to my desk and I would sign it.
just one other question about something that you said in 2019, when you first ran. There was a debate. You raised your hand when asked whether or not the border should be decriminalized. Do you still believe that?
I believe there should be consequences. We have laws that have to be followed and enforced that address and deal with people who cross our border illegally. And
they're all crossing the border. What are we watching? Oh my God. They're all crossing illegally. But because of the asylum seeking and the fact that on the first day of office, you guys decriminalized it, that anybody can claim that they're asylum seekers. And then you guys have sanctuary cities. What? Have you heard about Colorado? Like migrants taking over an apartment complex? This is insane. And there's like 80,000 missing children. Like, this is crazy.
There should be consequence. And let's be clear, in this race, I'm the only person who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations who traffic in guns, drugs, and human beings. I'm the only person in this race who actually served a border state as Attorney General to enforce our laws. And I would enforce our laws as president going forward. I recognize the problem.
Generally speaking, how should voters look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here in your policy? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
Dana, I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. You mentioned the Green New Deal. I have always believed, and I have worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. We did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We have set goals for the United States of America and by extension, the globe, around when we should meet certain standards for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. As an example, that value has not changed.
She's checked her notes like 1,000 times, by the way. Like she's reading from a script. Like there's no doubt in my mind she has notes and she keeps looking down at them.
My value around what we need to do to secure our
Like
border.
just look at that. Look at that. What is she looking at right here?
That value has not changed. My value around what we need to do to secure our border. That value has not changed. I spent 2 terms as the Attorney General of California prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, violations of American laws regarding the illegal passage of guns, drugs, and human beings across our border. My values have not changed. So that is the reality of it. And 4 years of being vice president, I'll tell you, one of the aspects to your point is traveling the country extensively. I mean, I'm here in Georgia. I think somebody told me 17 times since I've been vice president in Georgia alone. I believe it is important to build consensus, and it is important to find a common place of understanding of where we can actually solve problems.
On that note, you had a lot of Republican speakers at the convention. Will
Yeah.
you appoint a Republican to your cabinet?
Yes, I would.
Anyone
Yes,
in
I
mind?
would. No one in particular in mind. We got 68 days to go with this election. So
Oh, you already know. Adam Kissinger. Who else? A whole bunch of rhino Republicans. If she wins, which I doubt she's gonna win. This is a disaster. I really don't think that she just gained any new voters here. I think she's flip-flopping so much. She's lying about what's going on. The American people have awakened to the reality that every time a Democrat says crime is down, they're fucking lying. Like, and they can't make up their mind whether Biden is actually doing a good job. Because I remember just like a month ago, Democrats were saying that Bidenomics is working and Biden is doing an amazing job. Like job numbers are up, everything's amazing, but yet they're like, this makes no sense. What are you campaigning against?
I'm not putting the cart before the horse, but I would. I think it's really important. I have spent my career inviting diversity of opinion. I think it's important to have people at the table when some of the most important decisions are being made that have different views, different experiences. And I think it would be to the benefit of the American public to have a member of my cabinet who was a Republican.
That was just the start.
Yeah, so apparently that's just part 1. There's a part 2 apparently supposed to be coming out, but I think they showed. Is this it? Let's see real quick.
Your opponent, Donald Trump.
Okay.
I was a little bit surprised. People might be surprised to hear that you have never interacted with him, met him face to face.
Mhm.
That's going to change soon. But what I want to ask you about is what he said last month. He suggested that you happened to turn Black recently for political purposes,
Mhm.
questioning a core part of your identity.
Yeah.
Any,
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
that's it?
That's it.
Okay. I want to ask you.
Wow, that's it. Tariq Nasheed, who is the leader of the Foundational Black Americans, posted in disappointment and thinking face here. So there's stuff coming out of this interview that is supposed to be coming out. A part 2 of an 18-minute interview. This makes no sense. Let's go to CNN real quick, see if we get that second part. Because so yeah, there's a part 1. Next question. Boom. So they just have part 1 up right now. So in part 1, it was just 8 minutes. And apparently in part 2, it's supposed to be that part and then Tim Walz. I'm just so not interested in this. This is a disaster. This was a disaster, ladies and gentlemen. This was nasty. What a nasty interview in the faces of everyday Americans that are struggling. That she can't stop reading her notes. She needs to have Tim Walz, and then she gets softball interview. They're still editing. Somebody said they're still editing for part 2. Well, part 2 is just supposed to be a short part with Tim Walz. Yeah. You guys make up your mind here. Let me know what you think about all of this. Thank you so much for your donation. I appreciate your donation. This is gross, absolutely vile. Definitely looking at notes. Disaster. Yeah, it's Tampon Tim can't even save her. Not in this. But Dana Bash, whatever her name is this is such a softball interview. You know the type of energy these people usually have when it comes to Trump or when it comes to JD Vance in this case. This is why people hate the media, and I don't think they hate them enough because they just can't be fair. I'm telling you, can't be fair, and it is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to smash the like button. Thank you for your $50 donation. This is why CNN and all these networks are a disgrace. This is why people hate them. This is why people love the alternative media. This is why I have 2,400 people, 2,500 people on this live stream. This is why big time YouTube channels are blowing up. And no, it wasn't live. It was pre-recorded and pre-edited and then cut. It was cut up. She's out there telling people to skip the questions, blaming everything on Trump. Like it's just wild. It's just extremely crazy. There's more to break down. We'll be back with another bigger and better show, of course. Let me see. Let's see real quick. We got another.
The country is just starting to get to know you. I want to ask you a question about how you've described your service. And
look at this. I don't even want to hear this question. I really don't want to hear this guy. This guy's weird. Tampon Tim. Just look at her face.
The
country's getting to know you. Let me ask you a softball question here.
Country is just starting to get to know you.
Yo, you guys are so biased. It's so hard for you to hide it.
I want to ask you a question about how you've described your service in the National Guard. You said that you carried weapons in war, but you have never deployed actually in a war zone. A campaign official said that you misspoke. Did you?
Well, first of all, I'm incredibly proud. I've done 24 years of wearing the uniform of this country. Equally proud of my service in a public school classroom, whether it's Congress or the governor. My record speaks for itself, but I think people are coming to get to know me. I speak like they do.
No, you don't. Coward. I'm out. Smash the like button, spread the word. I'm out of here, bro. I can't do it. Not tonight. I'll be back tomorrow, guys, with a bigger and better video. Smash the like button, spread the word. See you guys on the next one.